Terve ja tervetuloa. Hello and welcome to another episode of Finnish Tales of Integration Season 2, a podcast by international student ambassadors. I'm Kira, a master's student in drug discovery and development and an international student ambassador here at the University of Turku, and I will be your host for today's episode. In this series, we guide you through the next steps after you've settled to Finland, helping you thrive as an international student. If you're planning your move to Finland or Turku, check out Season 1, which serves as a very good beginner's guide to integration. In today's episode, we'll explore student well-being and chaplain services at the University of Turku and how these services support mental health, personal growth, and integration into campus life. Our special guest today is Pusa, University Chaplain and work Counsellor at the University of Turku, who will share insights about the support systems available to students. So, without further delay, let's get started. Thank you so much, Mia, for taking the time to come here with us today.
Sure.
So if we go right into this, what kind of services are there available for students' mental health, well-being and personal guidance here at the University of Turku or at your part?
Well, there are several different ways of supporting your well-being, one of them being quite simply taking care of your physical health. So there's the possibility of doing all kinds of sports, which is available for everybody. And then if we look at mental health more closely, then there are the study psychologists whose support is available for all students with the exception of exchange students, unfortunately. Yeah. But other than that, if you're struggling with your studies or if you're having a hard time figuring out as to how to get motivated with your thesis or anything else, then they are an excellent source of help and support. When it comes to what we do at the University Chaplaincy, there's two of us. There is Elina, who is my colleague, and she works as the University Chaplain for the Finnish-speaking community at the university. And then I am the pastor who works as the University Chaplain for the English-speaking students and faculty members. And what we offer is a possibility for counseling, quite simply, that you have an option to come and talk with us if there is anything that is going on in your life that you feel that it would be good to talk to somebody else. And I can get to the more specific things that we can offer maybe a little bit later, but just as a general rule. Then there's obviously the student health services is a place to go if there's something more specific. If you are needing to figure out for yourself, for example, that whether you need medication or something like that, if you have anxiety, for example. So there is a lot of different support systems available. There are different groups that offer outside of the university support for people, and then there's a crisis center if there's a crisis, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of different options and possibilities depending on what the situation and what you need.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So you're a university chaplain.
Yeah.
What kind of problems or worries do students come to you about?
Well, basically pretty much anything. Some of the things that I think is always important to say is that it doesn't cost anything. So if you need support, you will always get it. You don't have to be religious at all, nor do you absolutely not. You don't need to be Christian. So all faiths and none are welcome. So this is not a limitation of any sort. And if you choose to come and talk with us, then you can trust that that we follow the principles of a safer space and also the principles of confidentiality. So it is safe to come and talk with us. And when it comes to the things that people come to talk with me, in my case, it is probably partly because I am very open about the fact that I am ADHD and neurodivergent in that sense. So a lot of people with who are neurodivergent have found me, which is fun because I like speaking with my own clan in that sense. So I can offer support when it comes to that, and I am actually also qualified to do that. But other than that, it can be that there's lonely, that you're feeling lonely and you would like to talk to somebody about it. It can be relationship problems because, most of the students are still sort of sorting it out for themselves as to who they want to be with and whatnot. Then it can be, and very often it is actually, I think, sort of this tiredness that comes with being a student and having to do a lot of projects and sorting it out for yourself as to how to sort of live your everyday life in a way that supports you actually having the strength to do everything that you need to be doing. So I think university studies have become more and more challenging when it comes to just quite simply having the time to do everything that you're required to do. So having done 2 degrees myself, I think I had it easier because it's been a while than it is nowadays. So that's one of the things, and I tend to be the person to try and calm people down as to, it's okay, you can do this. You might need to take more time than you had expected to take, but it's okay. So I think those are, it's pretty much anything. Sometimes actually somebody may actually have like a spiritual question, which, a theologian is absolutely really thrilled to have that discussion as well. And sometimes the questions are more of sort of existential questions that you're trying to figure out for yourself. What is the meaning of what I'm doing, or what is the meaning of life, or what needs to, what are my morals, or what are my values? How do I want to live my values in my life? And that kind of questions, which are important to figure out.
Yeah. I feel like whether you are an international student or a Finnish student, there is always so many things happening in your life at this point. And it sounds like you have experience and understanding for many kinds of things and problems. Do you feel like any kind of thing would be too little to seek help for?
No. If there is something that is that you feel is problematic, and your sort of network of friends or people who are your people, you don't really want to be talking about it with them, that you would like to have the discussion with somebody else, you are always welcome to come and talk about it with either me or Elina. So there is, I would really like people to sort of recognize that it is not good for anybody to have like a really high threshold to go and talk about things. That is far smarter to go earlier and talk about things than later, because people are built in a way, we are all built in a way that things tend to expound. Yeah. So if you sort of recognize that there is I'm not quite sure even what it is, but I just have this feeling that I'm not quite all right, then that's the time to take contact. Obviously, you can do it later as well, but it is something that is a good thing to learn to do. It's the same thing if you have a minor cold, you will take steps to try and prevent it from becoming a bigger sort of issue. Same thing with our mental health as well.
Yeah, I feel like that's a thing that often happens, that people belittle their problems and be like, this is not big enough problem to seek help for. But it is important to remember that it is never like that. It
never is. And it's also, I mean, it is a way of figuring it out for yourself. If you go and talk with another person, then you get the chance to also to have another perspective to the thing. And either it can be that, okay, well, this is actually a minor thing, which is a good thing. I mean, figuring it out, like, okay, this is actually a minor thing. Or then you might get the support to recognize, okay, this is actually a bigger thing that I thought about. And then now I need to take steps towards figuring it out as to how to proceed from now on. So I think in all kinds of ways, it's a good idea to talk earlier than later. Same thing with relationships, although, I mean, with friends or with in a romantic relationship, talk earlier rather than later.
Yes, that's true.
That's my 2 cents for this.
Yeah. So, how do these services support students' academic and personal successes?
Well, I guess this is intuitively something that everybody can understand, is that if you are feeling better, then you are having more strength or more sort of availability in your brain to get to the things that you want to get to. So if you're really tired, or if you're exhausted, or if you're anxious, or if you're depressed, you are most likely not being able to do your best work. So if you get the support to those issues, then you will be able to do your work better. At the same time, I have to say that I have to question the idea of always having to be productive.
Yes.
That you have the right to be not productive at times as well, and you need it. We need our daily rest, we need our weekly rest, we need our yearly rest in the form of having a holiday as well, which you students don't necessarily do particularly well, because you need the money as well to support yourselves, but nonetheless to take care of yourself in that sense as well.
Yeah, it's a very important skill in this world.
Yeah.
So what kind of advice would you give to students who might feel hesitant to seek for support? We a little bit discussed this already, but do you still have anything to add?
Yeah, what I'm thinking is that sometimes it can be a question of sort of feeling shame, feeling that I should, but there's a lot of shoulds happening in your head. I should this, that, and whatnot. And no, you don't have to be able to be perfect. Actually, that's not possible. We are imperfect anyway. So if there is something, please don't hesitate. It's not necessary, and it will be much easier for you to moving forward if you learn that earlier rather than later. I think in one sense that in my age I've learned that there is no reason to hesitate to ask for help, because it makes life easier to get the help when you need it, rather than just waiting for it to explode in your mind somehow, or that, okay, all right, now I actually have to do something about it. I think that was kind of a dramatic way of saying it, but I mean, there's a difference. I get that it may be scary to meet a new person and to talk to that person, and that is why I'm happy to be here, so that there's the face and you see what kind of a person I am. So I'm hopefully not as scary, and not square either, but scary. So I think it's important to recognize that obviously we can feel really hesitant talking to a new person, and then you have the right to take it slowly and to figure it out for yourself to whom you want to trust and with whom do you want to talk with. But please don't leave it all together. Just look in your own time for the person that you would like to talk to, and then take contact. And very often you can send an email or something that you don't necessarily have to just walk into a room with a new person, that you can try and see whether with that email, when you get a response, that response is the kind that you would like. And with that, then make a decision as to maybe this would be the person that I could talk to. I know these are then can also be cultural, so that the different cultures, it's more common to sort of have the idea that, well, everybody has a therapist, and in another culture it might be the absolute opposite, that it's not common at all to talk to anybody. But hey, this is a possibility to try new things as well, to see whether that would actually help to talk to another person. So just to take it from that perspective as well.
Yes, and as it's still confidential, then the students is always safe.
Yeah.
Nobody will get to know what you're talking about.
Exactly. And this is something that this is not necessarily something that if you're an international student that you know about, but we had a breach of trust a few years back with a huge service provider when it came to mental health issues, and those were leaked, the information. I don't take any notes, so it's kind of hard to leak anything because I have nothing in anywhere. It's the way my studies taught me, that it has to be in my brain, and that's where it is, and that's where it stays. So it's never going to go anywhere else.
Yeah. So when a student contacts you, how do the meetings look like? Do you usually meet them once or many times throughout the semester?
It depends on what the student wants, or faculty member for that matter, because I meet with people who work for the university as well. What usually happens is people tend to want to send an email, which actually works really well for me. So I'm thankful for that, because WhatsApp can get a little bit messy as to who sent what where. So for that reason, I especially like getting an email about things. You don't have to explain what's going on. You can just say, I would like to come and talk with you. Is it possible? Well, actually, it is always possible. You don't even have to ask that. Just say, I would like to come and talk with you. And then I will send you the available times in the next 2 weeks, and we'll see whether those work for you. If they don't work for you, we'll look for other possibilities as well. And then you have the option of coming to talk with me either at our university chapel or the campus chapel, or we can meet at my office, which is a little bit further away from the campus area, depending on where you are. I do offer the possibility of also distance counseling. I myself prefer talking face-to-face, and I think most people usually do as well. But if you happen to be a person who's, in fact, actually living in a different town and coming to Turku for your lessons or what, it is a possibility as well. It used to be that people came several times. Nowadays, I think it's kind of 50-50, that there are people who come just for one session or one talk. And then there are sort of the other 50% who can be anything from meeting with me for like 3 times, or maybe half a semester or a semester, depending on what the situation is. And I don't set limitations as to how many times you can come. Other than that, I'm usually not in a position to be able to give you support every week, because there's a lot of other things happening in the calendar and a lot of other people as well. But for the most part, sort of every 2 to 3 weeks for the time period that is good for you and is needed by you.
Do you remember any case, or can you share like a success story or an impact or an example of impact on students' well-being?
It's one of those things that, because there is a code of confidentiality here, so saying that, okay, well, with this person it was this and that, I can't really do that. But what I have happened to me a lot of times is, and it's always so lovely, is somebody saying, oh, I feel now more calm, or that, oh, thank you so much, this helped me so much. So that kind of feedback is obviously the best. And it tells me that I'm doing something right, which is always fun and a great thing. So I think that's the thing. I can't really say anything else. Would love to, but it would go counter actively to what I just said about confidentiality.
Yes. Yeah, but it must be rewarding for you to get to know these people and then see them getting better.
It is, and you know, sometimes this work comes with also that the person comes to my life for 1 hour and talks with me, and I never hear from them, and I'm okay with that as well, because I think you're in no obligation to give thanks to a person whose job it is to be the counsellor and to be there. It's lovely to get the appreciation, but at the same time, if you're in the process of going through things, and this is just sort of like the one step where you come and talk and then you continue to other things, you are most welcome to do so as well. It's about you, it's not about me, quite simply. Yeah.
So you said earlier that email would be the best way to contact you. Yeah. Is there some source where we students can seek for more information about your services?
The intranet has information about us. The information is there. There is the ASIO service, and you can book times through that as well. Although, to be honest, right now there are no times there, but it's because it's been hectic and I haven't had the time to set them. But for the most part, I usually have times there, in time slots that are there for the next 2 weeks or so. So you can book a time with me through that system as well, the ASIO system as well. And in there it has like a short description as to who I am. But what I basically offer is the possibility for counselling, which means quite simply coming and talking about whatever you want to be talking about. Then the second possibility is work-related counselling. This would be mostly for those who are doing a thesis or who are working at the university. And that means that we are talking about specifically work-related things, which is quite a wide range as well, but still is the sort of main focus is how do I get my work to be more aligned to how I need to be doing it or whatever it is. And then the third option is that I am a solution-based neurodivergence. It's neuropsychiatric coach.
Sounds interesting.
Yes, it is, and it's a horrible combination of words to pronounce, but quite simply means that if you are neurodivergent and you struggle with being a neurodivergent person, which we usually do to a certain extent, and if there's something specific that you are trying, or not even specific, but something that you're sort of recognizing, okay, I have a horrible time getting over my procrastination tendency. So I have a horrible time with being in a room with or a space with other people because it overloads my sensory system or whatever, that there are issues that you're trying to figure out how to work with. Well, basically you're trying to work with your brain rather than against your brain. This is what we're trying to do, and this is what I'm trying to support you in doing, and recognizing where you might have the issue. If it's like this place is very, very light at the moment because it needs to work with the camera and whatnot. So if it is that you need to be in a space that is dimmer, sort of recognizing the issues that come with the fact that you have a wonderful, gorgeous neurodivergent brain, but which doesn't really always work the best way in this world, which is more made for a slightly different kind of a brain. So those are the kinds of things that we do, so that I'm with one person, I can be helping them with planning their studies. With another person, I can be helping them figure out how to get up from, in the morning earlier rather than later and whatnot. So sort of these sort of quite specific things can...
Very practical things too.
Really practical things as well. And I like that is a new part of my job, and I like that as well because I'm a really practical person myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a real coach.
Like a real coach, yeah. The point is obviously to get to the sort of the bottom of things and figuring out, okay, all right, why am I doing this? And with that, finding a way to move forward. But at the same time, it usually means also finding practical ways that, okay, I forget things all the time, which is what I do. I forget stuff. My glasses are missing, my telephones are missing and whatnot. And then recognizing the fact that, okay, I need to plan ahead in the sense that I will always have 5 minutes extra so that I have the time to look for the things that I have lost somewhere during the day. So that kinds of things that recognizing that, okay, this is the way my brain works and I can't change the brain, so I must change the way I deal with the things that the brain makes me do or causes me to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking we often talk about well-being with the physical, mental and social aspects. So it sounds like you can help with all of them.
Well, yeah.
At least do some parts.
Yeah, and this is what I hope to be doing because we are, humans are holistic beings. That so if I'm suffering in one part of my life, then it will bleed into other parts of the life. It just happens. So if I can help you with whatever it is. And there are times when a person comes to me and we start talking and I recognize, okay, I'm not going to be able to be the best person to support you with this, that I will then say, okay, I think it might be a good idea to contact this or that instance. And I will be here for you until you have then had the possibility to talk to that person or to take contact. So I'm never going to leave you hanging with the sort of... unfinished situation. You will always have my support until you get the support that is possibly more specifically geared towards what your needs are. Because I'm not a I'm not a psychologist. I'm just a theologian who happens to be a counsellor as well. So there are limitations as to what I can do and how I can help. Yeah.
I think it's very important because especially now there is a mental health crisis in here and there is so long queues to some of these mental health services. Then it's very important to be able to support on the way while you get to the service that will actually help you in the optimal way.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we have wanted to always point out is that we can be the sort of in-between people, so that you've taken contact already with another place, student health services, for example, but you are having to wait for like 2 months or something. So then you have the option of not having to do that 2 months all by yourself, but you have the option of taking contact with us. And the happy thing has been that for the most part, we usually are able to give a time, if not for the week, that you contact us the following week. So it usually, it's never been months to get to come and talk with us. So that's the good part. And what I have always sort of myself felt as an important part, because I'm talkative, and it's an ADHD trait in me especially, is that I need to talk. It takes me time to get to my point because I need to tell you everything about the thing. And so I want to give that luxury to another person. So when you're coming to talk to me, I usually offer a time slot for an hour and a half for the first time. And then for the second time, we can see whether an hour is sufficient. If it isn't, if you feel that you would always like to have an hour and a half, then that's available as well. So I want to be able to give the time that you need to be able to get to your point, if you are like me and it takes time to get to your point. Or if you just need more time in other ways, so sort of just to relax in a situation and getting into a discussion. So that's what I have always thought that I have time to offer. Yeah.
In today's episode, we discussed the University of Turku's Wellbeing and Chaplain services, how they support student mental health, personal growth, and integration, and shared practical advice on using these resources. Remember, these services are here for you, so don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you, Mia, again for being here today, and thank you for the audience for listening to this podcast series. Thank you for tuning in to Finnish Tales of Integration Season 2. We hope this episode brought you clarity, comfort, and a reminder that you're never navigating this journey alone. Before we wrap up, a quick announcement. Our next Meet and Integrate event will take place on 13th of February at Mercatori. A great opportunity to connect, make new friends, and feel even more at home in here. Take care, stay connected, and we'll see you on the next episode.